The violent surge of spiritual energy waves rampaged, distorting space, while above the massive dragon phoenix pool, a golden figure stood still, surrounded by a golden glow that emitted an overwhelming aura of power. It had a humanoid shape, clad in thick golden armor that shone brilliantly, made of dragon scales, and was nearly indestructible. It wielded a golden battle spear, with veins like coiled dragons on its arms. Its large hands sported sharp, unmatched nails, resembling daggers, glinting coldly. The figure hovered in midair, its emotionless golden eyes visible beneath the golden armor, coldly watching Mu Chen and Cai Xiao. Mu Chen's expression was extremely serious as he stared at the golden-armored figure. He immediately appeared beside Cai Xiao and asked, "Are you okay?" Clearly, his heart was shaken. He knew very well Cai Xiao's mysterious and formidable strength. Throughout their journey, few had been able to rival her, but here, in direct confrontation with this golden-armored figure, she had been pushed back slightly, which was enough to startle Mu Chen. Cai Xiao lightly shook her head, her beautiful eyes also fixed on the golden-armored figure. A trace of seriousness passed across her enchanting face as she said, "It seems this must be the guardian here. Be careful, it's very strong." Mu Chen nodded. Even someone as powerful as Cai Xiao had been forced back a little. If it were him, he would likely struggle even more. Intruders, leave or die. The golden-armored figure's emotionless golden eyes fixed on Mu Chen and Cai Xiao. Suddenly, a hoarse and sluggish voice echoed out. Although the voice was harsh, the murderous intent within it made Mu Chen's heart shiver. Does it actually have intelligence? Mu Chen and Cai Xiao exchanged a glance, both seeing the surprise in each other's eyes. In Dragon Phoenix Heaven, while the wild beasts were fierce, most lacked intelligence, let alone the ability to speak. Clearly, the golden-armored guardian was no ordinary being. With its newfound intelligence, its combat strength would undoubtedly surge, which was the most troubling part for Mu Chen. "Leave." The golden-armored guardian pointed its golden battle spear at the two. Its overwhelming killing intent seemed to materialize, whipping up a hurricane in the air, terrifying to behold. Mu Chen looked at Cai Xiao, both of their brows furrowed. They had only just arrived, and the treasure was right before them. Asking them to leave was not so simple. A mere humanoid beast without flesh and blood dares to be arrogant. Cai Xiao spoke coldly, her beautiful eyes locked onto the golden-armored guardian. Spiritual energy, as colorful as a rainbow, surged from her jade-like hands like a tidal wave. Boom! The golden-armored guardian's golden eyes flared with murderous intent. Without another word, it stepped forward, instantly distorting space. Its figure turned into a golden lightning bolt, speeding toward Cai Xiao. Humph! Cai Xiao snorted coldly, her jade hand grasped, and a long sword that radiated 7 colors appeared in her grasp. Without retreating, she met the guardian head-on, and the spiritual energy around her turned the sky into a vibrant display. Clang! Clang! The two figures crossed in the sky. The sound of metal clashing rang out as their weapons collided. The terrifying shockwaves of spiritual energy swept through the air like a hurricane, tearing apart the thick clouds in the sky. The clash was intensely fierce. Mu Chen watched the battle in the sky with a grim expression. The confrontation seemed to be evenly matched for now, but the golden-armored guardian's killing intent was overwhelming. It was like a killing machine. If this battle continued, the result was hard to predict. Clang! In the sky, the tip of the spear and sword collided with perfect precision. The spear and sword both bent under the immense force, but in the next instant, they snapped back, and the explosion of power sent both figures flying backward. Boom! Both figures were shot into 2 peaks atop the Dragon Phoenix altar, causing the entire mountainside to collapse, with massive boulders tumbling down. Cai Xiao's spiritual energy swept out, reducing the falling boulders into powder. Gripping her sword tightly, the tip of the blade pointed diagonally as her beautiful eyes showed a more fierce expression. She had not expected the golden-armored figure to be this difficult to deal with. From her assessment, the golden-armored figure's strength was likely at the 5th grade supreme level, similar to her own power. However, the armor made of dragon scales provided extraordinary defense. Cai Xiao clenched her silver teeth. If it weren't for the many seals placed within her body by her father due to her physique, she could easily destroy this golden armored guardian with a flip of her hand. Boom. In the distance, the collapsed mountain peak suddenly sent rocks flying, and a figure in golden armor emerged, walking with slow and heavy steps. The cold, unfeeling gaze of the golden armor guardian locked onto Cai Xiao. As it moved, golden dragon patterns seemed to appear on its dragon scale armor. Meanwhile, behind it, light began to gather, gradually forming a pair of massive phoenix wings. As the phoenix wings flapped, the ground beneath it shattered instantly, cracks spreading rapidly like a spider's web, covering a range of thousands of meters. Chen and Cai Xiao's expressions changed at that moment, because they could feel the golden armor guardian's power rising at an alarming speed. Those are the true dragon mark and the true phoenix wings. Chen stared at the dragon patterns on the golden armor guardian's dragon scale armor and the phoenix wings on its back, his eyes wide in disbelief. How could the power of the true dragon and true phoenix appear together on its body? Aren't those supposed to be two incompatible forces? It must be a creature born from absorbing the essence blood of the true dragon and true phoenix, so it should possess their powers, Cai Xiao said in a low voice. What should we do? Chen asked quickly. Judging by the situation, it seemed that the golden armor guardian was about to strike with its killing move, and the intensity of its spiritual energy fluctuations was terrifying. Help me block it for a moment, I need some time. Can you? Cai Xiao asked, her brows furrowing. She then looked at Chen, her eyes flashing. Under her gaze, even Chen felt his blood flow faster. Yet, his expression kept changing. He knew how powerful the golden armor guardian was. Luyan was no match for it. An opponent of this level was terrifying, and Chen wasn't sure if he could truly stop it. He looked into Cai Xiao's bright, clear eyes, which gleamed like obsidian. Taking a deep breath, he finally nodded. It seemed there was no man who could refuse her request. At this moment, he couldn't retreat. Cai Xiao smiled brightly, her smile enchanting, and then slowly closed her eyes. As her eyes shut, 7 colored symbols appeared around her body. Clearly, she knew that without using some hidden methods, she wouldn't be able to defeat the golden armor guardian. The 7 colored symbols swirled around Cai Xiao, and the ground began to tremble slightly. Boom. Just as Cai Xiao gathered her power, the golden armor guardian surged forward, stepping on the shaking ground. It was incredibly fast. As the phoenix wings behind it flapped, sand and stones flew. Chen's face changed when he saw this. The golden armor guardian was clever, clearly having sensed the danger Cai Xiao posed. It wasn't going to give her any time to gather strength. However, Cai Xiao still kept her eyes tightly shut, seemingly unaware of the golden armor guardian charging at her. Damn it! Chen's expression shifted. He gritted his teeth and his eyes became icy. His body flickered, appearing in front of Cai Xiao. Spiritual energy surged out of him without restraint, golden light radiating. The great sun indestructible body was summoned instantly, and at the same time, the great Xun'er demon pillar pierced through the air, releasing a terrifying aura. Boom. The great sun indestructible body's massive hand gripped the great Xun'er demon pillar, unleashing an explosion of golden light, which then swung toward the incoming golden armor guardian with overwhelming power. The ground cracked beneath them, but the golden figure wasn't hindered. Its massive phoenix wings suddenly extended, like blades, colliding with the great Xun'er demon pillar. Boom. The spiritual energy surged violently, and the great Xun'er demon pillar was knocked away, completely losing its control under the great sun indestructible body. The golden armor guardian's power was terrifying. Chen's face turned pale, but his eyes only grew colder. With a thought, the great sun indestructible body's golden fist was swung at the golden armor guardian. The golden armor guardian's golden eyes were devoid of emotion. It twitched its golden war spear, sending a beam of light shooting out, directly shattering the golden fist's surface with cracks. Its figure continued to charge forward, its golden eyes locking onto Cai Xiao, clearly disregarding Chen, who was trying to stop it. Chen stood on top of the great sun indestructible body, watching the golden figure rush past. He gritted his teeth and his gaze turned fierce. No matter what, he couldn't let it go. Chen clasped his hands, and two golden suns rose from the great sun indestructible body's forehead and chest. The dazzling golden light merged, rushing into Mu Chen's body. 9 Yang Divine Art, Dual Solar Power. The golden light around Mu Chen's body almost turned liquid, enveloping him completely. The golden light spread, and Mu Chen stomped his foot, dragon roars echoing as golden dragon patterns seemed to emerge from his skin, wrapping around him. False dragon body. With both powerful forces enhancing him, Mu Chen, surrounded by golden light and dragon patterns, exuded a terrifying presence. In the next instant, he lunged forward, his movements as fast as a battle god descending. Below, the golden armor guardian, who had been charging relentlessly, finally hesitated slightly. Its cold golden eyes first looked toward the approaching golden figure. Clearly, this time, it had sensed some danger. A dazzling golden light streaked from the sky, its immense power almost shattering the space itself. The golden armor guardian stood at the center of the collapsing earth. At this moment, it finally halted its forward momentum. Its pair of ruthless golden eyes slowly lifted, locking onto the golden shadow, diving down from above. Such a display of power was enough to capture its attention. Creak. Its palm, covered in dragon scales, slowly clenched. The dragon scales rubbed against each other, creating an ear-piercing sound. A powerful force radiated from it, causing visible ripples in the surrounding space. Its golden pupils fixed on the golden light descending from above. There was no fluctuation of emotion in its gaze. Boom. The golden light streaked down. In the reflection of Mu Chen's pupils, the indifferent eyes of the golden armor guardian appeared. Its emotionless stare was enough to make the faint-hearted crumble. However, Mu Chen was clearly not one of them. His gaze remained fixed on the golden armor guardian, and within his dark pupils, instead of fear, a sharp, blade-like intensity surged. Roar! Behind him, the supreme sea appeared. The sound of dragons and elephants roared as 2 dragons and 2 elephants flew out. They quickly formed into dragon-elephant light wheels beneath his hands. Slash! Mu Chen bellowed like thunder, channeling all his strength into his palm. The dragon-elephant light wheel spun wildly, sending shockwaves that cracked the space around it. Whoosh! The dragon-elephant light wheel howled down like a streak of heavenly light, reaching the golden armor guardian in an instant. Without hesitation, it struck down fiercely at the guardian's heavenly spirit cap. The sharp, blinding light scattered in all directions, tearing the earth apart into smooth, mirror-like, deep cracks. Roar! The golden armor guardian's pupils reflected the dragon-elephant light wheel as it let out a beastly growl from its throat. Its 5 fingers clenched tightly, and the dragon scales on its arms shone brightly. Then, it swung its fist forward, unleashing a terrifying force akin to a volcanic eruption, directly colliding with the dragon-elephant light wheel. Boom! The instant of the clash, a brilliant light erupted into the sky, even dimming the daylight. The dazzling golden light enveloped tens of thousands of meters in radius. Bang! Bang! The earth beneath the golden armor guardian's feet continued to collapse. Both Mu Chen and the golden armor guardian's eyes flickered with cold light, their murderous intent growing fiercer with each passing moment. Boom! A golden sun slowly rose from the point of contact, then exploded, sending terrifying shockwaves in all directions. Mu Chen and the golden armor guardian were both violently shaken, eventually sent flying by the blast. Bang! The 2 figures were sent sprawling through the air, crashing through mountain after mountain. The peaks crumbled as the deafening sounds echoed across the heavens and earth. The raging golden light gradually faded, while dust and debris rose into the air. Amid the rising smoke and dust, a figure, somewhat disheveled, emerged from the rubble at the base of a distant collapsing mountain. Mu Chen, looking somewhat battered and with a pale face, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Blood dripped from his right hand, staining the broken rocks beneath him. Clearly, the earlier clash had been no easy feat for him. Mu Chen slowly wiped the blood from his lips, his eyes filled with shock. Only after personally facing the golden armor guardian did he realize how terrifying this foe truly was. If it hadn't been for his false dragon body, his arm would have been shattered in that clash. This is no easy opponent, Mu Chen muttered with a bitter smile. But just as his words fell, from the distant mountain ruins, countless boulders suddenly exploded into dust. As the dust settled, a golden armored figure slowly emerged, still holding a golden war spear. Its golden light remained as bright as ever, and its golden pupils, devoid of emotion, locked onto Mu Chen. On the slightly raised palm, there were faint dragon scale fragments, indicating that Mu Chen's earlier attack had at least had some effect. However, as Mu Chen gazed at the figure, a chill ran down his spine. His earlier attack had been his strongest strike, yet it had only caused a few dragon scales on the guardian's palm to crack. This was far from what Mu Chen had hoped for. Mu Chen gritted his teeth and cursed under his breath. Compared to Lu Yan, this golden armor guardian was countless times more troublesome. Boom. The golden armor guardian's golden pupils locked onto Mu Chen. In the next moment, it shot forward like a bullet. Everything in its path, from giant boulders to rocks, shattered into dust. The golden spear in its hand also pointed straight at Mu Chen. At this moment, it finally raised its spear toward Mu Chen. Before, it clearly didn't think the seemingly weak young man in front of it was worthy of such attention. However, Mu Chen's earlier attack had changed its opinion of him. It now saw Mu Chen as a sufficiently dangerous enemy. But Mu Chen, clearly, didn't want to escalate the danger to this level. He stomped his foot, and his figure instantly retreated like lightning. At this point, a direct confrontation with the Golden Armor Guardian would be incredibly reckless. Boom. Yet, the Golden Armor Guardian seemed determined not to let him go. It charged forward relentlessly, smashing anything that got in its way into powder. Golden light surged from its body, and its speed suddenly skyrocketed. Afterimages appeared around it. Mu Chen's expression changed drastically upon seeing this. But before he could accelerate further, the space in front of him tore open. A blurred golden shadow flashed out, and the golden spear, without hesitation, transformed into a golden rainbow, shooting viciously toward his throat. This spear was breathtaking. Its speed and trajectory were flawless. For a moment, Mu Chen could only watch in shock as the sharp tip of the spear rapidly grew larger in his vision, and he couldn't avoid it. A surge of fear rushed into Mu Chen's eyes, but then, with gritted teeth, he made a desperate move. He reached out, attempting to grab the tip of the spear. In that split second, it was the only option he had. Although it would come at a great cost, it was still better than letting the spear pierce his throat. However, just as his hand was about to meet the spear's tip, the space in front of him suddenly twisted, and a sword tip with colorful light emerged from the void. It met the spear's tip with perfect precision. The sound of metal clashing rang out, followed by a surge of 7-colored spiritual light. The golden spear trembled, and the golden armor guardian itself was shaken, its body thrown backward. It staggered for over 100 steps before finally stabilizing itself. It lifted its head, its golden pupils locking onto the distorted space ahead. A slender figure slowly appeared. Mu Chen also raised his head to look at the figure. Cai Xiao was still Cai Xiao, but her previously jet-black hair had transformed into vibrant, 7-colored strands. Her hair flowed in the wind, and amidst the brilliance, there was a mysterious aura that sent a chill down one's spine. Cai Xiao slightly tilted her head. Her beautiful eyes had also turned a 7-colored hue. She gazed at Mu Chen, and a faint smile appeared on her enchanting face. "Well done," she said with a smile. Her voice, clear and crisp, carried an undeniable tone of admiration. Clearly, Mu Chen's actions had surprised her. Mu Chen gave a wry smile and sat down heavily on a rock. His tense body relaxed completely, and waves of sharp pain surged through him. He pulled at the corner of his mouth and said, "It's all up to you now." Having exchanged blows with the Golden Armor Guardian had clearly left him shaken, his blood and energy in turmoil. If Cai Xiao hadn't acted in time, he would have suffered severe injuries by now. The 5th grade Supreme was far stronger than someone like Lu Yan, a 4th grade Supreme. "Leave it to me," Cai Xiao said, nodding lightly. She turned her gaze toward the Golden Armor Guardian in the distance. In her 7-colored pupils, a cold light began to gather. Soon, 7-colored light points radiated from her body. Roar! The Golden Armor Guardian roared like a wild beast, its focus locked onto Cai Xiao. Its instincts told it that, compared to before, Cai Xiao now seemed infinitely more dangerous. Golden light flickered in its eyes as it suddenly shot forward, its golden spear transforming into a towering beam of light. An indescribable aura of pressure swept through the air. Within that golden light, the shadows of true dragons and phoenixes seemed to soar, wrapping around the spear. The Golden Armor Guardian's attack this time was clearly full force. Chen watched from afar, his fists tightening involuntarily. With such an offensive, could Cai Xiao really hold her ground? Under Chen's tense gaze, Cai Xiao's multicolored hair fluttered gently in the wind. Slowly, she raised her slender jade finger. A soft white glow shimmered from her fingertip, as pure and white as ivory, so beautiful that it was impossible to look away. However, even with such delicate and beautiful fingers, there was an aura of deadly danger emanating from them. Cai Xiao took a light step forward, her jade finger pointing into the air, and it made contact with the golden battle spear carrying an overwhelming force, clashing lightly. In that moment of collision, she slightly parted her red lips, as if murmuring softly, and her voice echoed through the heavens, summoning constant thunder. One finger devours the heavens. Her ivory-like jade finger pointed through the void, and directly collided with the golden spear light, which was breaking through the air with the shadows of the true dragon and true phoenix. In that moment of impact, the world seemed to fall silent. Chen's pupils were fixed on the point of contact. However, despite the terrifying clash, there was no deafening sound. Instead, at the tip of Cai Xiao's finger, a shadowy black color suddenly burst forth. The dark hue spread like ink dropped in water, quickly expanding. In the blink of an eye, it formed a black hole, about 100 meters in size. The black hole spun, as if it were devouring everything in the world. Any substance that fell into it would be turned into nothingness in the eternal darkness. Roar! The true dragon and true phoenix seemed to roar in anger. The golden spear light radiated with an earth-shattering battle intent, trying to pierce through the black hole. But in reality, the golden spear light was slowly drawn into the black hole, unable to escape its terrifying pull no matter how hard it struggled. The Golden Armor Guardian roared in fury, golden light surging wildly as it tried to resist, but it was all in vain. At this moment, Cai Xiao seemed to be demonstrating an astonishing power. The black hole rotated at Cai Xiao's fingertip, and the golden spear light was eventually swallowed up, completely disappearing within it. Whoosh! As the golden spear light was consumed by the black hole, the massive black hole suddenly shrank, turning into a tiny black, like ink stains on Cai Xiao's pale fingertip. She then pointed her finger into the air, striking like lightning at the Golden Armor Guardian's forehead. There was no sound, yet the Golden Armor Guardian's body froze in that instant. Even the brilliant golden light emanating from it dimmed at an astonishing speed. Its dragon-scaled arm trembled as it tried to reach for Cai Xiao, but it eventually fell limp, its entire body crashing to the ground. The immense spiritual energy that had been surging vanished completely. Chen stared at the scene, dumbfounded. He was clearly stunned by Cai Xiao's strike. Such an attack was simply terrifying in its precision and power. Cai Xiao gazed at the fallen Golden Armor Guardian. Her radiant hair quickly returned to its natural dark and smooth state, and her multicolored pupils returned to their original color. Her delicate body shuddered slightly, and she fell backward. A figure appeared just in time behind her, reaching out to catch her slender waist. Chen noticed that Cai Xiao's face had grown somewhat pale. It seemed that the earlier attack, which had instantly defeated the Golden Armor Guardian, had taken a significant toll on her. "Are you okay?" Chen asked with concern. Cai Xiao lightly shook her head, then stood up. Chen released his arm at the right moment, not lingering on the soft and captivating sensation. "I'm fine. At least it's over." Cai Xiao glanced at the Golden Armor Guardian lying motionless on the ground, breathing a sigh of relief. If this hadn't been enough to defeat it, then they would truly have had no choice but to retreat. Chen stepped forward and carefully tapped the Golden Armor Guardian's armor. However, a hollow sound echoed from beneath the golden armor, leaving him stunned for a moment. He then lifted the armor and found that there was nothing inside. The Golden Armor Guardian seemed to have completely disappeared. "It was hit by my devouring heaven finger. Its physical body was devoured," Mu Chen inhaled sharply upon hearing this. The methods used were truly domineering to the extreme. Cai Xiao's origins were indeed mysterious, as she seemed to be able to master such powerful techniques. However, this armor doesn't seem to be an ordinary item. Cai Xiao gently clenched her jade-like hand, and a set of golden armor floated in front of her. This golden armor was forged from true dragon scales, and its strength was beyond description. Moreover, behind the armor, faint wing patterns could be seen. This set of armor merges the power of the true dragon and true phoenix. Mu Chen also moved closer and said in amazement, "The phoenix wings that the golden armor guardian unfolded earlier were actually empowered by this armor. Such a treasure." Mu Chen couldn't help but exclaim. This dragon phoenix golden armor not only had the formidable defense of true dragon scales, but also boasted the speed of the true phoenix. Such abilities were even beyond that of a superior divine artifact. If word got out, countless people would surely covet it. "You still haven't realized the true power of this dragon phoenix golden armor," Cai Xiao said with a slight smile. Mu Chen was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. The powers of the true dragon and true phoenix are almost incompatible, as you should know better, since you've cultivated the false dragon body. Even in the dragon phoenix pool, where the essence blood of both true dragon and true phoenix exists, they will eventually erode each other until one emerges victorious, allowing you to absorb the power. Cai Xiao's jade finger lightly tapped the dragon phoenix golden armor in front of her. But this is different. It truly merges these two powers. I believe that the reason the golden armor guardian could possess the powers of both true dragon and true phoenix is not because of its own capabilities, but because of this dragon phoenix golden armor. "You mean?" Mu Chen's eyes twitched, and a fiery heat surged in the depths of his gaze. "Exactly. If you were to possess this dragon phoenix golden armor, you might be able to absorb both true dragon essence blood and true phoenix essence blood. At that time, you could potentially cultivate both the true dragon body and true phoenix body. Hee, or perhaps it should be called the dragon phoenix body." Cai Xiao smiled softly. Dragon phoenix body. Mu Chen licked his lips. Even though his composure was usually strong, at that moment, he couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement in his heart. The dragon phoenix heaven had been open for many years, and while some exceptionally talented individuals had gained the true dragon body and true phoenix body, no one had ever been able to acquire both simultaneously. This made it clear just how unrealistic such a goal was. Yet now, this seemingly impossible thing had a flicker of hope. How could Mu Chen not be stirred by such a possibility? Mu Chen's inner turmoil lasted for a while before gradually subsiding. He looked at the dragon phoenix golden armor and then at Cai Xiao. "You dealt with the golden armor guardian." He wasn't truly blinded by excitement. He knew that if it weren't for Cai Xiao, he likely wouldn't have made it here, let alone claim such a divine item. "Take it. Stop being so polite. If you hadn't stopped it with all your might earlier, I wouldn't have been able to deal with it. And while this dragon phoenix golden armor is rare, it's not necessarily something that would tempt me." Cai Xiao flicked her finger, and the dragon phoenix golden armor transformed into a golden light, shooting toward Mu Chen. She waved her jade hand, smiling as she spoke. Such a rich family. Though Mu Chen knew this was just an excuse, he still couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. He then stopped pretending and took the dragon phoenix golden armor. With sincere gratitude, he nodded at Cai Xiao and said, "Thank you this time. If you ever need anything in the future, just call on me." "You're so confident," Cai Xiao teased as she looked at Mu Chen. Given her status, if she truly needed something, Mu Chen's current strength probably wouldn't be of much help. Not enough now, but who knows about the future? Mu Chen gently stroked the cold scales of the dragon phoenix golden armor and smiled slightly. Though his smile was calm, the confidence within it surprised Cai Xiao, as she could tell it wasn't blind arrogance, but rather trust and determination in himself. Who can say? The fledgling eagle of today might soar across the skies in the future. Cai Xiao stared at Mu Chen for a while, then smiled warmly and nodded. "All right. Exchanging the dragon phoenix golden armor for a favor from a future super strong cultivator seems like quite a good deal." Mu Chen smiled awkwardly upon hearing this. Such empty promises would likely earn countless eye rolls from others. Cai Xiao's beautiful eyes shifted towards the golden waters of the super dragon phoenix pool, and then her gaze turned toward the golden sapling further ahead. On the sapling, 3 dragon phoenix fruits emitted a dazzling radiance. They were the most eye-catching objects in this world. Cai Xiao and Chen exchanged a glance. Their bodies moved in unison, appearing in front of the golden sapling, and they were ready to reach out and pluck the fruits. Swish! However, just as they were about to take action, the space around the golden sapling suddenly twisted. The distorted space seemed to transform into blades, sweeping across. The 3 dragon phoenix fruits immediately fell, entering the twisted space, and disappeared without a trace. The sudden change left Cai Xiao and Chen stunned. Their expressions immediately turned cold. "You talents from the Dragon Phoenix record, why do you always resort to such sneaky tricks?" Cai Xiao looked coldly at the void, sneering. Whoosh! As her sneer echoed, her figure vanished, reappearing in a void. With a pale jade hand, she slapped out, directly shattering the space. Bang! In the shattered space, a hand slapped out fiercely as well, meeting Cai Xiao's jade palm head-on. The spiritual energy surged, and Cai Xiao's delicate body trembled slightly. After the fierce battle with the Golden Armor Guardian, her condition had clearly weakened. However, even so, it was still impossible to steal from her. She formed a seal with her jade hand, and multicolored light appeared, her fingers suddenly stabbing into the void. Then, she sliced through the air. The space cracked, and drops of blood splattered. A shadowy figure streaked past like lightning, fleeing at an astonishing speed, so fast that even Cai Xiao couldn't keep up. Cai Xiao watched the fleeing figure, her face still cold with anger. After a moment, she slowly descended, flicking her fingers. 2 dragon phoenix fruits, glowing with golden light, appeared before her. He took one. Cai Xiao's voice was icy. Although she had reclaimed 2 dragon phoenix fruits, this incident still left her extremely displeased. Chen glanced at the 2 fruits, letting out a sigh of relief. Thankfully, the 2 fruits were fully matured. The one that was lost was the one that had only recently been born. He turned his head toward the spot where the shadow had vanished, a cold glint flashing across his face. Although the figure had not revealed itself, Chen already knew its identity. The person who could track their movements, follow them quietly, and steal a dragon phoenix fruit from Cai Xiao's hand in the Dragon Phoenix Heaven. There was no one else in the Dragon Phoenix record who could do this except the one ranked first. Feng Yi of the Divine Hall. As the spatial fluctuations in the sky faded, the world became silent. However, Cai Xiao's expression was not pleasant. Though Feng Yi had only taken an unripe dragon phoenix fruit, how many years had it been since she had suffered such a loss? Her anger was nearly overwhelming, and she almost couldn't hold back from chasing Feng Yi to the ends of the earth. "This guy is cunning." Chen frowned, his wariness of Feng Yi increasing. To be able to steal a dragon phoenix fruit from their combined efforts, Feng Yi's abilities were almost monstrous. Moreover, they had no idea how he had followed them. With Cai Xiao's caution, she must have scanned the area during their journey, yet she still hadn't detected Feng Yi's presence. Clearly, this guy had figured out a way to deal with her after the last encounter. Furthermore, he was extremely patient. Even when Cai Xiao fought the Golden Armor Guardian, he remained hidden, only acting when Cai Xiao unleashed her strongest strike and her energy was at its lowest. But it was clear that Feng Yi had underestimated Cai Xiao's strength. In the final moment, he was still caught up with and had the 2 matured dragon phoenix fruits forcibly taken back. Now that this guy had been exposed, he probably wouldn't dare return, or else Cai Xiao, in her fury, would make sure he couldn't leave. "I won't let him off." Cai Xiao's brows furrowed, her crisp voice carrying an icy chill. Chen smiled slightly, feeling a moment of silent sympathy for Feng Yi. If he got targeted by Cai Xiao, even if this guy was the top-ranked expert on the Dragon Phoenix record, he'd still be in a huge headache. "You should refine this Dragon Phoenix golden armor first. That guy won't dare come back, even if he's given more courage," Cai Xiao said, her anger gradually subsiding. She turned to Chen and spoke. Chen nodded with a smile, saying nothing more. His figure shifted, and he landed on a massive rock beside the Dragon Phoenix pool. He sat cross-legged, his hands clasped together, and the Dragon Phoenix golden armor, shining with golden light, appeared in his palms. The Dragon Phoenix golden armor was exquisitely crafted. Golden dragon scales etched with ancient symbols adorned it. What was most astonishing, however, was that it was not man-made. It was naturally formed from the fusion of true dragon scales and true phoenix feathers, combined with their essence blood. Such a divine artifact could only be born from the gathering of heavenly and earthly spiritual energy. Mu Chen clenched his palms, and the purple flames of his spiritual energy appeared, wrapping around the Dragon Phoenix golden armor. Intense heat radiated, causing the surrounding air to quickly become scorching. As the purple flames scorched the Dragon Phoenix golden armor, Mu Chen bit the tip of his tongue, spitting out a mouthful of essence blood. It fell directly onto the golden armor, producing a sizzling sound. Golden light surged on the armor. Faint dragon roars and phoenix cries echoed, with the golden light attempting to repel the blood essence from entering. However, Mu Chen showed no signs of impatience. He calmly controlled the purple flames, continuing to temper the armor. As time passed, golden liquid began to appear on the surface of the armor, the result of the dragon scales being refined. This golden liquid was just the outermost layer of defense of the Dragon Phoenix golden armor. But for Mu Chen, it was more than enough. As his spiritual will moved, the blood essence merged with the golden liquid, and the two fused together, slowly covering the armor. Thanks to the fusion, Mu Chen's blood essence quickly left a blood seal within the Dragon Phoenix golden armor, silently establishing a connection. Normally, refining a divine artifact wouldn't be this easy. But since the Dragon Phoenix golden armor was a no-master artifact, its resistance was very weak. Moreover, Mu Chen had cultivated the false dragon body, with a trace of true dragon aura within him. Therefore, the armor didn't reject his blood essence imprint. Instead, it allowed him to leave the mark without resistance. Everything went smoothly as if by natural course. When the imprint was formed, Mu Chen immediately felt the connection between him and the Dragon Phoenix golden armor. A smile of joy appeared on his face. This smooth progress was somewhat beyond his expectations. With a gentle wave of his hand, the Dragon Phoenix golden armor transformed into a burst of golden light and shot toward him. The liquid-like golden light quickly spread across his body, and in just a few breaths, a majestic and fierce golden armor completely enveloped his body. Mu Chen looked down at the golden armor covering his body. The golden dragon scales shimmered, displaying an incredibly powerful defense. It seemed as though this defense could withstand any attack. Feeling the strength of the Dragon Phoenix golden armor, Mu Chen estimated that if he were to clash with Lu Yin again, even if he used the blazing heaven feathers, it would be difficult to seriously injure him. This is truly a great treasure, Mu Chen praised. The defense of the Dragon Phoenix golden armor was stronger than that of the Thunder God body, but one was a physical strength, and the other an external power. His mind moved, and the Dragon Phoenix golden armor turned into golden light, hiding beneath his skin. With a thought, he could immediately activate it. After refining the armor, Mu Chen stood up. His burning gaze turned toward the Dragon Phoenix pool, which was filled with golden water. The spiritual blood of the true dragon and true phoenix within this supersized Dragon Phoenix pool far surpassed what he had encountered before. He also wanted to test whether, with the power of the Dragon Phoenix golden armor, he could truly merge the essence blood of the true dragon and true phoenix, and cultivate the Dragon Phoenix body that no one else had been able to achieve. Mu Chen took a deep breath, nodded lightly to Cai Xiao, and without any hesitation, he moved like a streak of light and plunged into the supersized Dragon Phoenix pool. Splash! The golden pool water splashed up, each drop seeming as heavy as 1,000 pounds. As Mu Chen charged into the Dragon Phoenix pool, he suddenly felt his body grow heavy, as if the surrounding waters were pressing down on him like a mountain. The pressure caused sharp, stinging sensations to spread through his muscles. So this is the Super Dragon Phoenix pool, he thought. However, instead of panicking, this strange sensation only brought Mu Chen a sense of excitement. He could feel the intense purity of the true dragon and phoenix essence blood within the golden waters, its richness almost overwhelming. This essence, flowing directly from the true dragon and true phoenix, was untouched by any other beast's blood, and thus, it required no refinement. Its purity far surpassed the dragon phoenix essence blood Chen had previously condensed using the demon ape's blood, making it countless times stronger. Chen's body gradually sank to the deepest part of the pool, where he felt as if he was bearing the weight of the entire dragon phoenix pool. This immense pressure caused tiny cracks to appear on his skin's surface. Had he not cultivated the false dragon body, he would have been torn apart by now. Despite the terrifying pressure building like a mountain on top of him, Chen slowly spread his arms wide. He formed hand seals, and a powerful suction force erupted from his body. A whirlpool began to form at the bottom of the pool, and golden water swirled around him. Gradually, dark golden droplets of liquid began to condense, falling onto Chen's skin. The moment the golden liquid touched his skin, it seeped into his pores. Brilliant golden light radiated from within him, accompanied by the faint sounds of dragon roars and phoenix cries. Dragon and phoenix light patterns began to form on his skin, but they immediately began to devour each other, as if bent on completely consuming one another in a fierce clash. As expected, they're starting to devour each other again, Chen thought, taking a deep breath. His mind stirred, and golden light erupted from him, forming the dragon phoenix golden armor around his body. As the armor appeared, a golden dragon shadow flickered over Chen's chest, and behind him, the shadow of a true phoenix began to materialize. With a sudden crash, the dragon phoenix pool seemed to erupt into chaos. The golden waters split into two, like fledglings returning to their nest, continuously flowing toward the dragon and phoenix shadows. Roar! The dragon and phoenix shadows let out a deafening cry, transforming into two beams of golden light that shot upward, merging above Chen's head. Their heads and tails connected, forming a spinning dragon phoenix divine wheel. Boom! Boom! Two torrents of golden water, distinct yet powerful, rushed into the dragon phoenix divine wheel. The golden light erupted in all directions, almost blinding Chen's eyes with its intensity. Despite the pain in his eyes, Chen kept them wide open, focusing intently on the spinning dragon phoenix divine wheel. The golden light grew more intense as more water infused with dragon phoenix essence blood flowed into the wheel. Beneath the wheel, faint golden flashes began to appear. When the golden light reached its peak, Chen's pupils suddenly contracted. He saw a drop of dark golden blood slowly form beneath the dragon phoenix divine wheel. Within the drop of blood, the faint images of a true dragon and true phoenix could be seen circling and flying, emitting a mysterious, indescribable aura. Chen gasped in awe. Within that single drop of blood, the power of both the true dragon and the true phoenix was contained. The dragon phoenix golden armor truly possessed such miraculous abilities. Buzz! Buzz! The drop of dark golden blood trembled and then fell, landing on Chen's forehead. It swiftly penetrated into his body. Boom! The instant the blood entered, Chen's mind seemed to explode, as ancient dragon roars and phoenix cries echoed through the vastness of time and space.